Speaking of suppressed thoughts and feelings, thoughts on the rise of incest porn, or do we not want to go down that road? I think it's relatively simple. I think capitalism has atomized society, and so a lot of people are drawn to porn of people that they feel like they're drawn to porn that they feel connects them with other people, you know? So it's not necessarily the incest that interests people, it's the intimacy that they're interested in. A lot of other porn is just like, hey, it's the pizza guy, let's bone. Whereas incest porn has like the implied like knowledge of each other and like intimate relationship, which, you know, take that as you will. I think a lot of people get into it because we live in a horribly lonely and atomized society, and it's atomized largely because of capitalism. Um, there's a hole in the box? Yeah, exactly. Um, why do you think crying a lot is more inherently human than not crying? I didn't say that crying a lot is more inherently human, just that suppressing emotions is not a good or healthy thing for most people. I'm not going to say all people because, like, there are definitely fringe cases where that's not the case, but most men should be able to cry if they need to / want to. What is atomize? So when I say atomization, basically capitalism breaks us down into individual units. So you're more effective in a capitalist system if you are basically an interchangeable cog in the machine, right? So like anyone can go out to McDonald's and become a burger flipper. Like, no matter if you become the best burger flipper in the entire universe, you can be replaced in an instant. And so we become individual units that are interchangeable in this large system. We do not become part of a community when we go to work. We are always, always, always interchangeable because we do not actually have any investment in the capital. Yeah. So that's what I mean. We've been broken down from communities into individuals. And there are forces heavily invested in keeping us that way to maintain profits. Yeah. Atomized. We've been reduced to the lowest possible value, you know? Shockingly good take on this issue. Was not expecting that response, but I think that makes me think about that in a different way. Yeah. Yeah, I think that, like, again, there's a reason I'm a socialist, guys, and it's because I think that a lot of the issues in our world stem from, like, the way we have constructed our economic realities. And so I want people to understand that it can be different than it is, and it can be better than it is, and we are capable of making that change. True, I'm a dirty, dirty socialist. True, true. Um, it's the implied intimacy. True. I think it's really unfortunate families get torn apart because people have to move to different states away for jobs. Yeah, absolutely. Socialism, a good first step. Exactly. Like, I don't want to pretend that market socialism is going to be the answer for every ill in society. I just think that it is an extremely good first step, that from there I'm open to wherever we go. But I have a feeling that moving to market socialism, moving this country to market socialism, is probably going to take the entirety of my life. And I'm willing to sit down and make that decision, you know? I'm willing to fight for that until the end, because I think it's a really, really good thing to do. And it would improve the lives of uncountable numbers of people. From there, if somebody wants to take the torch and take us towards anarcho-communism or anarchism in general, or something even better than that we don't have yet, I'm all for it, you know? What is market socialism? I love that question. Market socialism is basically embracing the two tenets of socialism, right? So worker control over the means of production and decommodifying a significant portion of the economy. So it's taking those two things, and for having workers control the means of production, it is transitioning to a worker co-op economy, because worker co-ops currently exist under capitalism. And I think that worker co-ops allow essentially workers to control the means of production. It gives everyone an investment into the capital of the company. And basically it means that if you work at a company, you have some say over your working conditions, your pay, all that good stuff. Um, and then let's see. And then from there, it's about making that our primary economic driver, and then decommodifying the things that people need to live and operate in a modern society. So, shelter, food, electricity, water, internet, education, all these things. And that doesn't mean you couldn't like go out and like buy a better place to live, like a house in the suburbs with like a white picket fence and a golden retriever, or go to the luxury store and pick up like some Pop Tarts, or work at a worker co-op to earn enough money to buy that PS6 or whatever. So the basic concept of market socialism is that markets exist outside of capitalism, and that we should just basically take the stuff that works about capitalism and just move it so that there aren't these unjust hierarchies where people don't have where people have like totalitarian control over everyone who works like with them, you know? So that's basically market socialism in a nutshell. Because like basically like think this is a basic way to think about a worker co-op, right? Would Amazon, if it was run collectively, like every worker had investment in how Amazon ran and what Amazon did, would Amazon workers in warehouses, would they be dying of dehydration on the line? Would they be peeing in bottles in the warehouses? No, they would be in much better working conditions because the workers as a whole would not vote to be put in conditions where they would drop dead of heat exhaustion. Um, are you saying that increases in medical prices don't increase demand for healthcare? Jeff Hayes. uh, yes, I am saying that, yes. I don't think that we should have a financial barrier that prevents someone from getting health care that they need. I don't think we should have a financial barrier that prevents people from getting water or basic food stuff. Yeah, I think we should eliminate those. Um, yes, true. Jeff Bezos wouldn't have $200 billion. True, true. Oh, and also like, yeah, if we had worker co-ops, we'd no longer have to fear automation, because if you're part of the worker co-op that automates, you get the profits from that automation. You get to share in the additional efficiency and profits of the company. What's my opinion of Dogecoin? I think that there's a lot of really cool things that could be possible with like blockchain based currency, but that's about it. I not super knowledgeable about it. I think co-ops are worth investing in, yet will not be the answer to counter the capitalist system they are forced to exist in. Big fan of the choker, by the way. Thank you, Catholic Gaming. So that's the thing, right? Like, I don't think co-ops existing under capitalism makes for market socialism. But what I advocate for is phasing out the private businesses. Phasing out the businesses that are not owned by the workers, and having programs to encourage the creation of new worker co-ops. I think that is a good way to go. How do we make people transition to co-ops without making traditional companies illegal? Well, so one of the big problems with the worker co-ops is that we don't have, like, people on the ground generally don't have enough capital to start their own worker co-ops. Um, the one exception to this is in agriculture, because like farmers tend to have all of the capital that they need in order to operate independently. So then they form worker co-ops because they can do more together. They can do more by working together, so they form worker co-ops. Um, so I think we need to have government programs that allow people to start their own worker co-ops. because the government also benefits from worker co-ops because worker co-ops tend to be more efficient than traditional companies. I think we also need to do basically whenever the government needs to step in to bail out a company like Boeing, like we just bailed out Boeing big time. If the government has to step in to give you money for your company and it's a private business, I think it should be required to transition to a worker co-op. So I think over time, we would have more competition between worker co-ops and private businesses. And I think that over time, the efficiency advantage of worker co-ops would slowly phase out traditional businesses. Because right now, worker co-ops tend to be around 9 to 14% more efficient than traditional businesses. And you could also do other things. Like I know Bernie Sanders proposed that anytime you wanted to sell your private company, you would first have to offer it to the workers to collectively buy. I think that's a fine idea. I know a lot of my libertarian friends don't agree with that, but I think that would be a fine idea as well. Let's make an Amazon that only sells co-op goods. Holsky, unironically, I think that would be a fantastic idea, and you should absolutely do it. I will pimp the hell out of that on my channel, okay? So after the Democratic Party screwed Bernie the first time with Clinton and all the dirty stuff they do, as a lifelong Democrat, I left the party. I now find myself in this weird limbo. I don't feel I fit in with the Green Party as it goes a bit in some different directions. Way too liberal for the other party. When I say lifelong, I say that as a 40-plus-year-old cis she her they. Yeah, it's I think it's tough too because like I don't. Here's my fundamental position, okay, guys? When it comes to party politics, there is no way in hell a third party in this country is going to work until we have ranked choice voting. The only party that is going to even consider ranked choice voting is the Democratic Party. And I think that until we get ranked choice voting, the best option available to us as leftists is to work within the Democratic Party. And so this is why I encourage anyone who's watching right now, if you are unemployed, if you are dissatisfied with the direction of our country, if you want to push for more socialist positions, I highly encourage you in the midterms to think about running for office. Whether it's local office, whether it's state office, whether it's national office, I highly encourage you to try and run. No matter where you are, because even if you're in a highly Republican area, I think that we have good chances of winning over a lot of these people based on our policies. Like people want socialist policies. And if we want to win in the upcoming midterms, the upcoming election in 2024, we need to actually offer constituents tangible improvements to their lives. If we aren't doing that, they're not going to vote for us. And this is something that we saw in this election. People who hedged their bets, the liberals in the Democratic Party, the neoliberals, got trounced in House and Senate elections. And the people who ran as progressives, who ran as like socialists on policies like Medicare for All, largely they won their seats. So I think that this is a perfect time, if you are a lefty like I am, to go run for office, because we need more people in office. We need more people in local governments. We need more people in the Democratic Party, period, to enable more and more people who are left-leaning and who actually want to do good in our society to get into these places where the levers of power are, you know? Let's see. Learned about capitalist atomization in an anthropology class. Amazing ethnography called Women of the Forest and the Mundukuru tribe in the Amazon. It traced the modern history of the tribe as it was dismantled by capitalist interests, promoted by the church. Yep. They originally all lived in a tight-knit community with communal housing and communally raising children. Nothing was any one person's responsibility. If someone was ill, the entire tribe helped them. But then the rubber companies made it harder to continue this way of life by clearing land, and then they needed money to buy the food they used to grow and forage. So the rubber companies hired them cheap. But the way rubber harvesting works is you have to stay in the rubber company cabin, isolated among the rubber trees to tap them regularly. So this community got broken up into nuclear family units, spread over miles, completely isolated from one another. It wasn't long before alcoholism and domestic violence started to become a major issue. Dang, that is absolutely rough. Dang. They put ranked choice voting measure on the back of the ballot in Massachusetts. So angry. Oh, that's devilish. Can you explain ranked choice voting? Yeah. Basically, with ranked choice voting, you have you go through and you rank all of the candidates based on how much you like them. So you can vote for your preferred party first, your second preferred party second, your kind of meh party third, and then fourth, fifth, etc. And basically what this does is the votes all get tallied up. If someone has a clear majority in the votes, that person wins. If that person doesn't have a clear majority of the votes, they take out the least, like the most underperforming vote, retally the votes. If no one has a majority, take out the last person, retally the votes. No one had, yeah, and so on and so forth, until the person who is voted in has the majority of votes. Yeah. Oh, Florida, the naked man state where boats go missing, possums break into liquor stores, and people stuff scalding hot meat down their pants. Yep. Good old Florida. Also, hello, new people. I see we got a bunch of new people in here. Hello. My name's Jack. I'm a market socialist, and I like talking about all that good stuff. Worker co-ops and all that. Amazon tribes, very isolated, have very complex system to avoid inbreeding. Amazing considering they know nothing about DNA, but managed it perfectly into their culture. But they did have a culture where you could jump on a woman and rape her as long as it was outside the village. Yeah. And I by the way, I don't think it's like you can say that there. How do I organize what I'm trying to say? There are certain aspects of other cultures that can be problematic, and I don't think that's a problem. I don't think it's a problem to call out problematic elements in other cultures. Um, I mean, William of Orange, I'm pretty sure rape was also bad in other cultures as well, around the world. I don't think you can I don't think you can attribute anti rape just to Western values. Hello, ambitious losers. How are you doing? And like we also have a rape culture in our society that downplays rape. So like are we really that much better? I don't know. Anti-murder is also a common value. True. True. I good. I'm glad you're hanging in there. Um oh, Holsky, I know you weren't trying to label anything. I was just making an observation that like yeah, there are other cultures that have worse values. I don't think that's like a controversial statement. Like I don't think that we like I don't think that human sacrifice is necessarily a good thing. And I think most people would agree with me, except apparently in the United States a lot of people are fine sacrificing hundreds of thousands of people as long as the economy goes burr. So what do I know? Gotta appease that invisible hand of the market, am I right?